What if I told you that cancer cells have the ability to send little packages to each other, not only to communicate and organize, but to also send each other ammunition and press the right buttons in order to continue growing? This is one of the most fascinating areas of research, but also the way that this startup realized that we could be intercepting this cancer mail and be diagnosing cancer years before other traditional methods allow us.
The kit arrives, you collect urine, and in Japan, you just make a phone call and then the delivery guy comes to pick up to ship the samples. And then about 2 to 3 weeks later, the result will come back online.
First things first, you might be tempted to think that cancer has been this new disease. And the reason why cancer rates are climbing is mostly partly to the fact that we are living longer than ever. This is a dinosaur bone with a fossilized osteosarcoma, a type of bone cancer that has been preserved. And for the longest time, we've actually misinterpreted what cancer is. You see, for the majority of cancer history, we have thought of cancer as just cells that accumulate mutations. They stop listening to the DNA instructions that are healthy and they start growing uncontrollably. This is true, but scientists also realized that cancer cells are a lot more complex. They're just simply using mutations in order to achieve a type of mastery and control over a body that's way more sinister than we initially thought about. So, for this episode, I want you to start thinking of cancer cells as a master manipulator, as a cult leader that is rising and not only becoming toxic themselves, but hijacking the processes of other cells, telling them what to do in order to serve their purpose. And it all starts with a home base. What you see here is really just a cult. I know it sounds like a strong word, but cancer cells start seducing and inhibiting and taking under their control all kinds of the other cells. For example, immune cells like natural killer cells that are created to find and hunt and destroy cancer cells are put into a form of sleep. Other immune cells are totally hijacked. Not only they can no longer see cancer cells, but they start destroying other types of cells as well. Some others may seem really benign, like relaxing blood vessel walls, but even that is very important because it allows cancer cells to squeeze in between and get access to the bloodstream and potentially metastasize. Scientists have termed this the tumor microenvironment, and there's 15 different types of things that are happening here that deserve a video of their own. But I want you to focus on one thing only. Let's play a little bit of Where's Wally? I want you to find the exosomes, those tiny little parcels that we were talking about in the beginning, because they might just be one of the weakest links that cancer cells have. You see, in order for cancer cells to organize and spread their manifesto, they need to communicate. And the exosomes are just tiny parcels full of information, but also ammunition that they can use in order for other cells to start eating their own colonies. Okay, they're right down here, in case you haven't found them yet. I want you to focus on the second part, right here, microRNA, because not only they won a Nobel Prize in 2024 for a very good reason, but there's something that we haven't known about for the majority of cancer research history, and we're just finding out how important they are.
What we do is we analyze a biomolecule called microRNA. It was chosen as a Nobel Prize last year.
Yeah.
And what microRNA is, it's a cellular communication tool. And especially cancer cells release a lot of microRNA compared to healthy cells for tumor growth and escape from immune surveillance.
This is Richu Ononse, co-founder and CEO of Quaif, a startup that has found out a way to capture those exosomes and find out what particular microRNAs are hiding inside. Now is offering an at-home testing kit for cancer. But that was not an easy task. This is because microRNA is not the RNA you heard about at high school probably. You see, when we need to copy DNA, we make a messenger RNA copy first, which then gets translated into DNA. That's not microRNA. MicroRNAs are like little buttons that can increase or decrease the expression of certain genes. And that's what cancer cells mostly want to do. They want to get as much of the stuff that help them grow and as little of the things that make them get found out, killed, or die.
The big question is, how do you differentiate between healthy exosomes and healthy microRNA? and the microRNA that comes from cancer cells. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
When we founded our company, we weren't 100% sure that urine is the best, but we kept on comparing, and throughout all the experiments, urine was good. In the R&D phase, we identified the important differential expression among healthy and each cancer type. So we identified these multiple biomarkers.
Crave has designed this test. It's called MySig. It allows anyone to just take it home and submit a simple urine sample. Then Crave does the hard part, analyzing what kind of microRNAs are present. Based on that, they can detect your cancer risk for 7 different types of cancer, including pancreatic cancer, which is notorious for being caught very late. Within a few weeks, you get your results back, low, medium, or high risk, and based on that determination, they give you recommendations on how to proceed. But the reason why Crave is able to do this is because of the machine learning algorithms that they have trained based on a huge amount of data. This type of artificial intelligence can monitor and measure tiny variations and relationships between biomarkers that so far it was just impossible to see. But what's even crazier is when I asked Richie about the future of this technology.
We need high accuracy technology, but that's not the only point. It needs to be very convenient. So ideally, we should be able to collect data in toilets so that the collection of data will be automated. And by being able to periodically check data, that makes a big difference. Instead of checking it once a year or once in 2 years, if you could see it, for example, every month, the change of the data will be the signal to go to the hospital. So right now, how we go to hospitals is annual checkup or if there's some symptoms, but the latter case is too late. And annual checkups, it's very random, right? Okay, it's been a year, I'll go. But we should be able to capture a signal earlier and then go to the hospital. That will definitely make our medical systems much more effective. So that's what we want to achieve.
Incredible. So you would entirely remove the friction of even having to get the test. So you're thinking of this as something you integrate with somebody's like personal bathroom and their toilet. That's incredible.
Crave recently raised $22 million in order to test their technology like never before. They want to add 3 more types of cancers in their diagnostic kit, but also put microRNAs to the test for neurodegenerative disorders like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. My signal is not available in the pharmacies next to me yet, but I'm certain that one day they will, and when that day comes, I'll definitely be getting one. What do you think?